All right. Welcome to the reset button for November the 2nd, 2014. My name is Tanner Cyrax Larson, and with me, as usual, is Patrick DeBaser Breeden, the Screw Attack lead news editor. How are you doing?
Rocking out.
Rocking out?
Rocking
Awesome.
out.
So, what were you rocking out to last week?
Last week I was rocking out to a thing called Crazy Crazy Busy. And
Crazy,
we were
crazy busy.
and we were preparing for the awesomeness as the new Screw Attack. It's all nice and pretty now.
Yes.
And
very
it's
sleek,
wonderful.
very, very futuresque.
And it works on your phones.
It does work on the phone now, which is shocking to me because the past versions have not worked on the phone at all. And if it has, it's been very, very slow. But this is like fast and it's optimized for mobile now. So I'm very happy I can go on Screw Attack at work.
It's fully responsive. So if you want to get on Screw Attack on your computer, laptop,
Or
phones, tablet,
Mobile
we got
device.
we gotcha. It is
Got you
wonderful.
So, let's start off this week's news on the new ScrewAttack.com with Good Old Games, as Good Old Games has confirmed a partnership with LucasArts that will bring more than 20 of the publisher's games to the platform. The first 6 of these titles were revealed via a leak on Tuesday. The list of games uncovered on the GOG forums by user SCPM and reposted by user YYahoo are a number of classic titles. These include The Secret of Monkey Island Special Edition, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars X-Wing Special Edition, Star Wars TIE Fighter Special Edition, which will be the first game, Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, and Sam & Max Hit the Road. Pricing ranges from $5.99 to $9.99. No further information is available regarding which LucasArts titles will round out the remaining entries. This is a very, very good thing for Good Old Games, and even better for LucasArts, because now you have, a mass entry, a mass library of Star Wars games that are ready to be released to Good Old Games.
And you haven't even talked about the part that everybody's going to go crazy for. Sam and Max.
Oh, that's right. But I did say Sam & Max, one of the
Yeah.
Sam & Max games.
You're right, Sam and Max. You mentioned it, but you were like, oh, people are going to go crazy for Star Wars. No! They're going to go crazy for Sam and Max. Everybody loves Sam and Max.
Even to those who haven't played it, I'm sure they will love Sam & Max. But I think the bigger news is all the Star Wars games, the entire, well, not all of them, a good chunk of them, I would say, are going to be going to Good Old Games. And, there's a lot of Star Wars fans, and that's very big for Good Old Games. But Sam & Max, a very good, very fun point-and-click adventure series, one that I'm very familiar with. So I might be going to Good Old Games here pretty soon when that hits the road, let's say.
Plus, it's always fun if you haven't had a chance to try, any old Star Wars games, just to see, what they were thinking at the time. Because you've got, your newer Star Wars games where, games on Xbox 360. Let's talk about that awesome Kinect game really quick. That was fun, right? No. But it's fun to play old Star Wars games just to see, exactly what's going on. I can't remember one I was playing on PC in 2001, but it was really good, I remember.
Mm-hmm.
At least for the time. So, yeah, if you want to see what Star Wars games were like back in the day, Good Old Games, that's the point of it, to go and check out games of old, so why not?
Absolutely. And the Tim Schafer classic, Monkey Island, that's going to be going to Good Old Games as well, and I have a lot of memories. A lot of good memories from Monkey Island and that series. And honestly, I think that's also going to open up a new branch to people who may have never even heard of Monkey Island. So I think that's going to be very, very good for Good Old Games as well.
If you haven't heard of Monkey Island, you need to do it. Just go buy one, play it, and see what you think. First, you're going to come back and thank us. Second, you're going to buy other Monkey Island games.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to go on a buying spree at Good Old Games, because it's always fun to go in there and look at the old stuff and just be like, you know what? I never really had a chance to play Fallout. I think I'll give it a shot. And then it's GOG syndrome. You can't stop checking out old stuff because it's awesome.
It's kind of like Steam in a weird way, where you kind of go down this rabbit hole with Steam, and you just want to like get as many games as you can because they're cheap and they're really good. So Good Old Games has that kind of syndrome, the Steam syndrome.
Oh
So
yeah.
is that good for your wallet? Not necessarily, no. But
No.
is it good for you? Yes, absolutely it is.
Of course it is. And like you were talking about, it really is a race at some point to just like you get on Steam and you get games you want to play. You don't just buy games because unless it's a humble bundle and then that's what you do.
Yeah.
But then you see your game count and you're like, I'm close to 200 games. So you just go and buy more and more cheap games. And then you're eventually like, I'm close to 300 games. Time to buy more games.
Yes, exactly. You gotta broaden your horizons and make sure you try and get as many Steam games as possible.
Oh, yeah. You want to get those games. And you're going to do the same thing with good old games. As soon as you sink your teeth in one that you really like, you're going to go online and look around and find out what games of similar genres would be like that. And then you're going to grab that game, and then it's just going to, like you said, go down the rabbit hole.
So, with this announcement and partnership with LucasArts, what game do I even need to ask what game you're looking forward to from LucasArts?
I'm really going to have to go through there, and I don't like to just run in and just grab a game. Even if it's one I played before, I like to be reminded. So I'm going to go on there and watch some different videos on YouTube, and then I'll get a good sense of which one's coming home with me.
For me, if I were to choose one right away, it would be TIE Fighter, because that's one title I haven't heard of or haven't seen a lot of, if anything. That would be one game I really want to check out is TIE Fighter, just to see if, it's good as people say, and I have heard a lot of good things about it. So it's one of those things where I just want to, sink my teeth into. Not necessarily like going blind and just buy it right away, but just kind of look at some footage to see if I want it. And if I do want it, I'll definitely check it out. But TIE Fighter is one of those games that I just want to feel like if I should play it or not. And it intrigues me. It really does. Just for like what it did back in the day.
Yeah, now that you mention, I think I want to play a little bit of TIE Fighter, especially if it's anything like Rogue Squadron,
Oh,
anything at all.
I don't know. I haven't heard any. I have not heard a lot of comparisons with TIE Fighter and Rogue Squadron. So that would be really interesting if there are any comparisons.
If there are, sign me up. Rogue Squadron, in my opinion, is one of the best N64 games ever.
Absolutely. So let's move on from one of the best N64 games ever to one of the best PS4 games so far. Kind of a good segue? Nah, not really. Oh well. But Bungie has just deployed a small patch for Destiny that fixes some kicked into orbit problems. It also tweaks the final boss in the Vault of Glass raid, Atheon, to make him a bit more challenging. The developer says it has fixed two things related to this last encounter. Atheon can no longer be knocked off his platform. Bungie has also fixed him so that he'll randomly teleport 3 players through the time stream, they say. Unfortunately, this update does not address the changes to exotic weapons like the overnerfed Vex Mythoclast that Bungie says it will be fixing. Meanwhile, Destiny's Iron Banner event was intended to place significantly more weight on the power and protection of your weapons and armor. The end result didn't match the expectations, though, with the experience feeling a bit anemic. In response, Bungie says that the next event will place more importance on the quality of your gear. You will need a fire team leader of at least level 20 in order to enter an Iron Banner player versus player match. Lower level players can join too, but they will likely face stiff competition on the basis of gear quality. Bungie is also addressing the issue of players quitting during Iron Banner matches. Next time out, you'll be rewarded a medallion of iron for a loss. Each will be converted to reputation upon your next victory. This should get players to finish out the fight. You may also have noticed that Iron Banner bounties have pushed players into specific fighting scenarios a bit too hard. These will be turned down next time out, with reward values getting an increase too. Finally, two new mechanics are coming to the next event. The first is the ability to reforge Iron Banner drops, including those earned last time. You'll be able to get a new set of upgrades attached, but if you've already leveled the weapon, you'll lose any and all progress. This will cost most of light, a currency accepted by the weekend salesman Zur. The second new mechanic is called Tempered, a 12-hour reputation buff that will allow you to earn more rapidly. To earn more EXP rapidly, I should say.
Yeah.
Tempered will increase in potency through the week as a way for those who can't devote work or school time to Iron Banner but still want to earn some of the gear. Your rank will also carry over from last time, so you won't be starting from scratch. Iron Banner rank is being increased to a new maximum level of 5 for the next event too. So let's go back to the first story, and that was the nerfing of, or the fixing, let's say, not nerfing, but the fixing of the Vault of Glass. And I don't know if you've played that one yet, Pat, but I haven't gotten around to it.
No, I haven't gotten to it. I'm just between doing screw attack work and other work and class work. I haven't had much of a chance to touch Destiny. But from what I've heard from other people, Vault of Glass, I've heard some people say it's just right. I've heard some people say it was overwhelming. I've heard a lot of people say it was underwhelming. So I'm not sure
It's
how to
one of
go
those-
with Vault of Glass.
It's one of those mixed opinion things where, to me, if you find a hole, and this is just me coming from my standpoint on games, if you find a hole in like a coding or developmental flaw, then you have to exploit that as much as possible, especially in today's games because it's probably going to get fixed. And this was fixed with the whole ring out feature, is what I've been hearing with Athena. And it's kind of disappointing because it's just kind of is it an easy way out of the battle? Yeah, it pretty much is, but this just makes it the more challenging to see what other tricks can come up with the game, and especially that mission. So I haven't gotten around to it yet, but hopefully let's see how hard this battle is, because I'm definitely looking forward to the challenge.
It's funny you
Especially
mention, exploiting something out there as much as possible because, just coming off of like the madness that was the loot caves. Not just one
that's
loot cave,
right.
but loot cave after loot cave.
And they
Even-
fixed that too, didn't they?
Yeah, they fixed those, but now it's like it got so crazy and out of hand that Bungie went back and even picked on itself a little bit, made fun of the whole situation. If you go back to the original loot cave, there's like some different like remains and stuff that's laying on the ground that you can interact with, and it's just funny that they pick on it. What did it say? I'm sure you
I'm
guys
not
in
sure
the
what it
comments
said.
can quote this. I wrote the article. 1,000,000 deaths are not enough for Master Raoul, who happens to be the guy that you give your engrams to. So 1,000,000 deaths because you're killing all the people at the loot cave to get the engrams are not enough for Master Raoul because he keeps giving you crap when you bring him engrams.
That is true. That's very true because all you're getting is rare items anyway. And let's talk about, the PvP side of things with Iron Banner. I'm of the very small opinion, the very minority opinion that Iron Banner was balanced. And, if you were a level 7, it did not matter if you killed a level 27 because everyone was on an even playing field. Like, oh my goodness, Halo 3, where it didn't matter what gear you had. If you killed a person, it was fair. Or it may have been cheap, but it was still within the limitations. So I think that Iron Banner was, it was fun for what it was. It was an even playing field, and that was welcoming to newcomers. But if you were a veteran, let's say, of Destiny, a veteran at this point anyway, it was a little frustrating to see a level 7 or a level 8 kill you just like that, like if it was a level 25 or a level 20. So I feel like I wish I had the old Iron Banner back at this point. So I don't know what your opinion is of Iron Banner, if you've had a chance to check that out even. but I was a really big fan of the old Iron Banner.
Is this the part where I admit that I don't really play that much Destiny?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I think you've already admitted that.
yeah. I don't get a big chance to play a lot of Destiny, so I haven't tried an Iron Banner. Honestly, I'm sorry, guys. I know I write a lot about Destiny, but just because you write about a topic doesn't mean you're experiencing the topic. I research it a lot, but I don't play it that much. Wish I could. But
Man.
in terms of Iron Banner, I mean, I'd have to look into it and see exactly how balanced it is because honestly, like I read before, or actually reported too before, that they weren't really considering levels as much. And I
They
mean,
weren't.
even when you go into like say World of Warcraft and you're not at the max level yet. Say you're in the final stretch where it's going like from level 80 to 90. You're going to go into battlegrounds and there's going to be characters that are going to be, like level 83, 87, 89. It's different stuff like that. And the levels do matter in that. And for a game like World of Warcraft, it's considered to be, a very PvP competitive game. Even when it comes to stuff like that, you can be competitive. Why doesn't that transition into Iron Banner?
Well, in my opinion, it's like I like I said, I view it as like an even playing field. So if it doesn't matter what your level is in the old Iron Banner now, like in the new one that they updated, um, it does matter if you're level 7 because you do need a fire team leader of at least level 20 and two.
Right,
You
right.
do need, updated gear to even stand a chance, which can turn away some newer players.
Right. I know you need a fire team leader to go in there, but I mean, if you're incredibly underleveled, you should get the crap kicked out of you.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm in the small minority opinion here of like even playing field stuff where new people can even have a chance to take down like the big dog.
What they need to do, and I mean, I know it's not an MMORPG, it's an MMOFPS, but any MMO out there worth its weight in terms of like PvP or anything has like an in game PvP setting where like top level characters that have hit max level can go in there and share their stuff, show their stuff off, and break into like teams of twos, threes, fives, whatever. That's what they need. That's
Yeah,
what'll settle
and
the score.
I'm barely like an MMO guy, so I'm viewing this on like the whole skill-based competition of things. Like if you're really skilled at an FPS and you're like starting out Destiny, you're going to get the crap kicked out of you of some noob who's a level 27. And I feel like that to me is demeaning to a lot of players who are legitimately skilled. But, if they're legitimately skilled, they won't have too much trouble going up the ranks anyway. But the first couple outs, it'll be just, a lot of complaining and a lot of negative feedback.
Yeah, I mean, it should be a certain percentage. It should be a formula that has X amount of this gear, X amount of this skill at like max level. I've lost count of how many arenas I've won in World of Warcraft where the other team had way better gear and should have rolled us, but sorry, too skilled. Sorry.
That's true. You got a good point, but I still like the old Iron Banner. I thought it was fun for even playing field for an MMO FPS, but you know, it is what it is now, and it's fixed.
It's
But
gone.
I'm looking forward to all the updates that Bungie brings, and for better or worse, they're making the game what they feel it should be.
Absolutely. So things are going to improve with it, things are going to change. And honestly, how much has changed since Destiny came out?
Quite a bit.
You should expect this by now.
Yeah. And speaking of improvements, Nintendo has reported its 6-month financial performance, and things are improving. While the company is still showing red in the operating column, Nintendo's performance over a year-to-year basis offers hope. At the half-year mark, Nintendo is showing an operating loss of 215 million yen, which is only $1.99 million. Nintendo has almost made up its first quarter loss of 9.47 billion dollar or yen, which is $87.7 million, posting operating income of 9.255 billion yen, or $85.7 million for the second quarter. So I did all the math for you. You don't have to worry about all that. Nintendo's net income for the quarter amounts to 24.244 billion yen, or $224.31 million. At this time last year, Nintendo's 6-month net income was only 600 million yen, which is a meager $5.56 million, and its second quarter showed a loss of 8.024 billion yen, which is $74.3 million. This is all in part to the amazing stretch of titles in 2014, which was mostly in part to Mario Kart 8, which has now sold 3.49 million copies. This includes downloaded and bundled copies, putting in the attach rate for the title at 47.8%, up from 42% calculated based on June 30th, 2014 sales of the game and Wii U consoles. Not to mention the DLC on its way this November, which features an Excite Bike arena. This new course features the hills, jumps, and mud pits of the original Excite Bike. There's still no specific release date for this pack, which also includes Link, Tanuki Mario, Cat Peach, and the Yoshi Circuit. It's planned for sometime in November, though. Pokemon continues to attach well, with Pokemon X and Pokemon Y hitting 13.29 million units sold, with 45.42 million 3DS family consoles in circulation, which is an attach rate of 29.3%. Don't let these numbers really confuse you, because there's still more to go. Super Smash Bros. For 3DS reached 3.22 million units worldwide as of September 30th. This includes early shipments of copies outside of Japan. The title was released on October 3rd in the US and Europe. A statement from Managing Director Tatsumi Kashima: it's clear the company is leaning on Pokemon Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby to push flagging handheld sales in the holiday season. He also points to Super Smash Bros. On Wii U and Amiibo figures to motivate Wii U console sales. Nintendo has also released an updated release schedule. Currently, there are no titles committed for the company's fourth quarter, ending on March 31st, 2015. 4 titles are identified with targeted release dates in first half 2015, though. They are Mario Maker, which is a name that is not final, Project Giant Robot, which is a name that is not final, Splatoon, and Yoshi's Woolly World, which are names that are finalized. Other titles slated for 2015 are Codename Steam, Fossil Fighters Frontier, Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, Mario Party 10, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, which is a name that is not final, Project Guard, which is a name that is not final, Star Fox, which is a name that is not final, Xenoblade Chronicles X, The Legend of Zelda, which is a name that is not final, and Devil's Third. Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem is still listed as to be determined. Wow, so that is a lot to take in, but
That is a lot.
let's try to take in all these numbers at once right now. So for the Wii U, basically the cliff notes is major success 2014. 2013, huge failure. Let's put that huge failure aside and look at what happened this year with the Wii U. Holy cow. Pat, in 2013, I remember you and I were discussing like how the Wii U could even keep up with, the Xbox One or the PS4. They made a lot of ground this year.
Oh, they did. Oh, they did. I remember in 2013 how we were going off yelling at Nintendo, we want you to succeed. We want you to take this thing.
We were yelling about them advertising things.
Yes.
They advertised a lot of stuff this year. More so than they did in 2013.
The Bayonetta 2 Playboy advertising was brilliant.
Whoever came up with that deserves a bonus. Honestly.
Brilliant.
That was mind-blowing. Not only to see, a Bayonetta 2 ad, but to see it in Playboy of all things. My God.
Here's where we piss off the feminists. That's exactly where it should be. Bayonetta is not a character that's supposed to be somebody's victim. She will beat your ass.
Yeah, that's
Bayonetta
very
is
true.
awesome, and Bayonetta has a sexy side. It happens. But that's exactly where Bayonetta should have been advertised. That's exactly what Nintendo did. Perfect, great. I couldn't be happier. And then, like, when it came down to Mario Kart 8, they didn't put too much stuff on TV, but the moment that Luigi Death Stare thing hit, they rode that wave.
They
Sold
rode
so
that
many
until it
copies.
just died into the ground, and they're still writing it.
So proud of them. And then so much good stuff is coming. You've
All
got
it
Star
took,
Fox.
all it took was one meme. All it took was one meme on the internet to realize, oh, we should do something with our advertising market.
Just so much good. So
Wow.
much. And for anybody, because I know there's people out there just hate the Wii U and they just sit around all day writing blogs. I hate the Wii U and I hate anyone who loves Wii U. And Nintendo sucks. And PC Master Race. Son, I'm PC Master Race, first and foremost. Let me stand up here real quick. I want you to see my wonderful Boobite shirt from Shirt Punch. Nintendo, son, get on it. And we don't even have Smash yet.
Smash isn't even out for Wii U yet. It's out for 3DS, and it's amazing on 3DS.
I've already put 14 hours into it.
And you haven't put 14 hours into Destiny. Pat, I'm ashamed.
I some nights I won't go to bed because I'll be playing Smash and I'm like I gotta get up in 4 hours. I don't care.
I gotta Smash! I gotta settle it in Smash!
Gotta settle it in Smash. You do. So Nintendo has come back with like just a thundering roar.
We barely even mentioned Hyrule Warriors and how much of a success that was.
Hyrule Warriors. Everybody was going to be dead on arrival.
No, wrong.
Not even close.
Quite even the opposite, even.
It's doing well. They're selling DLC. People love it, and they're now starting to get into Dynasty Warriors games.
Yeah.
That's called
absolutely,
success.
Which is a good thing. Which is a good thing for Konami. Konami was the one who made Dynasty Warriors.
Koei
Right?
Tecmo.
Koei Tecmo! Wow, shows how much I know.
Koei
But,
Tecmo.
yeah, Koei Tecmo. But aside from all that, let's talk about Mario Kart 8 and how that how that just kicked things into high gear. No pun intended. Mario Kart 8 sales day one and onward. Day one was like massive. What was the percentage again for like Wii U sales? Oh yeah, 666%.
Oh yeah. And people are still playing Mario Kart like it's going out of style. You will have no problems finding it a race if you get online with it right now, as we speak.
It's still popular. It's still very popular, and that was released back in what was it? March?
May.
And to have a game from May still go very strong to November in the same year, that's saying something for something that isn't, a Call of Duty type game. Even Call of Duty would probably drop off within the first 3 months.
I don't know about that. I've read statistics, but that's not the case whatsoever. But Call of Duty is going to be found on multiple platforms. You're going to have Call of Duty on your 360, your PS3, PS4, Xbox One, so on until the end of time. We're talking about, except for Wii U. Previous iterations were on there, but what are you going to do?
Not anymore. For whatever reason. But, it doesn't matter because you have Mario Kart 8, you have Smash, which will drive sales like crazy. You will have Hyrule Warriors. You'll have many other titles coming up this coming year.
And then we haven't even talked about the DLC yet, because some of our guys in the chat are talking about the Excite Bike course. Oh, are you kidding me? It looks so good. And we haven't even seen a full list of all the other tracks that are going to be with the DLC packs. I don't care. I want it.
I want that Excite Bike. I want Link. I want to play Link on Excite Bike in Mario Kart. How much of a Nintendo overdose is that?
It's insane. So let's start talking about the pricing of DLC for Mario Kart and other Nintendo games. Because usually you have high-priced DLC. Destiny, Jesus. What's going on there? Sorry, my throat. And then you've got, you don't really get a lot out of the overpriced DLC that you get there. Of course, with PC, you always get like a major deal. So PC, we're going to shove to its side because we know PC does wonderful things. Love you. We're talking about console here. So Nintendo will give you 2 DLC packs to come with. At that point, let's see, it's 4 different circuits, 4 courses per circuit. So you get 16 new tracks. And I think when you put it all together, it comes out to like what, $15?
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy good. And you can play Nintendo games till the end of time, it seems. Like, you have people still playing Super Mario Brothers, the original, on the original console. Not on Virtual Console, which it's still available on Virtual Console, by the way. And, you also have Nintendo 64 games, which seems to be the gem of the Nintendo world, is the Nintendo 64. My gosh, so many good games on every single console.
Yes.
So the Wii U, a lot of people wrote off the Wii U right away and didn't give its fair shake. Now they have to reconsider, because Wii U might be getting its fair shake again. It might even be #1 here pretty soon. We might be talking about Nintendo being back at the top. When was the last time we ever talked about Nintendo being on the top of anything?
Well, when Wii was exploding, it was on top, but, you can't explode with Wii forever. Now people are starting to realize that you can talk about hardcore tech with your games all day long, but unless the games do something extremely spectacular, do you really care about the tech? Again, PC can do what PS3 or Xbox does, and it can do it better every time. But how about the games? How about the different ways you're going to play? How about, the really killer stuff that comes with using the gamepad? Because now, Sony's like, here, have this Vita that you have to pay like $200 for, and we're barely going to support with any software. And Microsoft's like, here, use your phone. No thanks. No thanks. This works just fine. The gamepad turns on, and then everything's awesome.
Back in 2013, I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent here, but back in 2013, we wrote off Nintendo as, they're just the king of hardware. They're just the king of, handheld hardware now. They're just the king of handheld. Now, it's kind of like, okay, can they be the king of both handheld and home consoles again? Because the last time we talked about them being the king of hardware, home hardware, that was the Wii. But really, that didn't really hold a lot of ground because there were hardly any solid games for it, let's say. So going further back, that would be, the Nintendo 64. But the Sony PlayStation was overtaking it in the middle of its lifespan. So let's technically say the Super Nintendo, if you really want to stretch for something, the Super Nintendo was the last high ground that Nintendo had in the home console market. And now it might be #1 again with the Wii U. If it can keep this high momentum going and the high sales that it's going, I don't know if it'll beat PS4, but I'm sure it'll beat Xbox One. I'm very sure that it will beat Xbox One at this point, mostly because of the botched marketing and the botched hype that Microsoft had for the Xbox One. It's still lingering, even though there are many fixes to the problem that was, arisen from the first Xbox One launch.
Yeah, I'd go with that. Xbox One is not done too well in terms of presenting itself. I know
they're getting better at fixing the image that was, but the image was still. I'm gonna say it. The image was still shit.
Yeah, Phil Spencer has been working really hard to correct the problems that it started with Xbox One, but I think a lot of people are still not really wanting to hear it because, let's face it, gold is still one of the biggest ripoffs in tech today. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
And that's not Spencer's fault because he's doing what he can. He's doing what he can, and he's doing a good job. But that's not Spencer's fault.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. As Devereaux just pointed out, Wii U is beating Xbox One sales right now.
Oh, I
Granted,
know that.
it had a year ahead of Xbox One, but
But Xbox One
PS4,
still had the same time that PS4 had to overtake that.
right? And PS4 did it. Why can't Xbox One? Who
We,
knows?
we know we
Because
kn- we know why, and there's a list of reasons why. But
it's
it's
just
none of
not
it
good.
is none of it is Phil Spencer's fault.
No, it's not. He's trying. He's not really helping too well with some of the ridiculous policies, like the parity clause with indie games. That's not helping anything.
Yeah, that
That's a nightmare.
that was a nightmare.
So you've got things like that that's really holding Xbox down. I reported today figures for PS4. PS4 is doing really well. It's doing fantastic.
So shocker there.
Sony's not doing well as a company, but PS4 is doing well.
Yeah, I know
So
Sony's not doing well as a company altogether, but how many electronics do they also carry besides PS4?
let's see, PS3 sales.
Camcorders, cameras, TVs,
Right.
Blu-rays. You name
PS4
it.
sales are going up. PS3 sales are starting to flatline a bit. Vita sales are starting to drop. Big surprise there. There's no
Yeah.
games for it. And then, like, their mobile market is killing them. Their mobile market is slaughtering them in their sleep. It is bad.
Again, big surprise.
So you've got Nintendo that what they are focusing on the new quality of life products, but their eyes are on the prize when it comes to making good video games. Nintendo wants to make good video games, and they
And
are.
they are. And right now, they can't squander this opportunity. One slip up and it'll be back to third. I guarantee it. If they make one mistake, Xbox, Microsoft, they will capitalize on that opportunity.
Of course they will. Phil Spencer did not get where he is by being an imbecile. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's just I don't think that most people are really hearing out what he has to say because they still don't like Xbox policies. And while he is working to change a lot of things, he is still dragging some of those policies with him. Number one being the indie parity clause, which
Yeah.
is just ridiculous.
It hurts them so much, and it helps Nintendo and Sony so much. So if you're a Microsoft fan, I would say you're hitting the panic button at this point. And if you're a Nintendo fan, you better hope that, the Wii U and Nintendo as a company just keeps on with this smooth sailing and stays the course. Even if they hardly release, any games, you'll still have those 2014 game sales slightly going up. They're not going to be as up as they were in 2014, but they'll still go up. And with the lineup that was just announced, Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem, The Legend of Zelda that's coming out, Star Fox that's coming out, Xenoblade Chronicles X, that should be fine.
that should be enough.
That by itself should be enough. If Nintendo just releases that for the year and this, kicks back, they'll be fine.
And we haven't even mentioned one thing people are dying for. They wanted this more than Mario Kart 8. People in chat know what I'm talking about. Let's all say it together. F-Zero.
Oh yes, F-Zero.
Everybody wants F-Zero.
F-Zero on Wii U, 60 frames a second would be amazing.
It would be
How
so
amazing
crazy fast.
would that be?
It
Oh,
would be
goodness.
the fastest racing you've ever experienced in gaming.
You know what? I bet you, I guarantee you they have that in the works.
I
They
hope.
have to have that in the works.
I hope now that they've proven that they can consistently do 60 frames per second, because Smash is in 60 frames, Super Mario 3D World is in 60 frames. I can't think of too many Wii U games that aren't in 60 frames.
Heck,
I mean,
F-Zero GX was in 60 frames.
you need that kind of frame rate for that kind of speed that you get with F-Zero, and
F-Zero,
it would be perfect.
F-Zero X was in 60 frames for a Nintendo 64 game. It had to be.
So
it had
that's
to
what we need.
So-
We need it.
Whew, man, all this Nintendo talk has worn me out. So I think we will call that the reset button for November the 2nd, 2014. Unless you have anything else to say, Pat.
No, I don't have anything else to say. My cat says it's time to end this thing.
So my name is Tanner Cyrax Larson.
And I'm Patrick the Baser Breeden.
And go buy yourselves a Wii U if you haven't